Hello everyone. Welcome to my YNR 24 Spoilers channel. Billy's Meltdown, Tessa and Daniel bond, Traci and Kane connect. Spoilers for Monday, September 22nd, 2025 on The Young and the Restless are available. Fans can anticipate a reunion between Traci Abbott and Kane Ashby in the upcoming episode. Tessa Porter, meantime, confides in Daniel Jr. Let's discuss the upcoming events in the CBS soap opera as you continue reading. Traci Abbott is back. Let's begin with the most thrilling announcement. Traci will be returning at last. She will make an unexpected comeback when we see her in Monday's episode. Kane and Traci are said to reunite. Prior to Kane's departure in 2019, these two were pals. It will be intriguing to watch Kane and Traci interact because a romance was hinted at but never materialized. Read more. Discover the events of YNR's most recent episode. Tessa Porter shares her story. Daniel is perplexed by Mariah Copeland's unusual request. Mariah will be gone for a long time. Or at least that is what the man believes. Mariah didn't seem to be healing, and the man cautioned her against making any foolish decisions. Will Daniel discuss the meeting with Mariah with Tessa? Will the singer share Mariah's revelation with Daniel once she opens up to him? It might lead to something fresh if Daniel tells Tessa that Mariah sounded like she was leaving for a while. Naturally, considering Mariah attempted to kill a guy, Tessa may feel bad about moving on. Billy Abbott's startling danger. The Restless and the Young Monday, September 22nd spoilers indicate that Billy Abbott threatens to do something shocking. Is he that arrogant that he will confront Victor Newman? Is this a fatal or a business threat? In any event, Billy appears to be losing all of his supporters and going into a downward spiral. In addition to having few allies in the first place, Billy has lost Sally Spectra and Jack Abbott. How can anyone remain silent regarding Kane's intentions to exploit Billy as a scapegoat? Billy might wind himself behind bars rather than with power and retribution, regardless of what people think of him. Read this. Spoilers for The Young and the Restless. Unexpected turns and turns that will rock Genoa this fall. September 22nd, 2025, Monday. Additionally, Holden Novak asked Claire Grace Newman to accompany him on a trip to Los Angeles. But may their innocent excursion turn into a horrific event? Confession, friendly reunion, startling threat. Spoilers for Monday, September 22's episode of The Young and the Restless suggest that Genoa City will see some exciting moments soon. A character confesses, two pals catch up, and someone issues a startling threat. What can we expect from Monday's show? It's time to find out. Billy Abbott's startling danger. According to Monday, September 22nd spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Billy Abbott will make a startling threat. Given that Kane Ashby canceled their AI program idea but appears to be proceeding with it with other allies, it is likely that he'll be the target of this warning. Billy became enraged when he disrupted a meeting with Kane, Michael Baldwin, Amanda Sinclair and Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, on Friday, September 19th. Having said that, what threat will Billy make and will he follow through on it? Kane Ashby reconnects with an old pal. In relation to Kane, he will get back in touch with Traci Abbott. It's interesting to note that Kane and Traci became close before he left Genoa City in 2019. Many admirers believed they were on the verge of a romance because they were so close. Unfortunately, that never occurred, so it will be interesting to watch how these two interact, particularly in light of Kane's recast element. Read this. The Young and the Restless. Billy needs a character makeover. Time to stop being a train wreck and grow up. The disclosure of Tessa Porter. According to Monday's previews for The Young and the Restless, Tessa Porter will be more forthcoming with Daniel. Will she elaborate on her feelings? This is probably about Mariah Copeland and their breakup. However, Mariah just opened up to Tessa about her difficulties. Will Tessa discuss this with Daniel? Furthermore, Mariah had asked Daniel to look after her wife while she was away receiving the necessary therapy. Could Daniel tell Tessa about his conversation with Mariah as well? To discover out, fans will need to tune in. Billy's Meltdown, Tessa and Daniel bond, and Traci and Kane connect. It looks like the September 22nd, 2025 episode of The Young and the Restless will not only advance the plot, but also delve deeply into buried emotional histories, complicated relationships, and character motivations that could change Genoa City's landscape for months to come. The episode is thoughtfully organized around three main themes: Billy Abbott's insane downward spiral that threatens to engulf everyone in his path, Tessa Porter's emotional disclosure to Daniel Jr., and Traci Abbott's long-awaited return and reunion with Kane Ashby. These plots may appear unconnected at first, but in typical YNR fashion, the strands from each weave together to create a tapestry of treachery, familial loyalty, personal development, and impending calamity. Traci Abbott comes back and gets back in touch with Kane Ashby. First of all, there is a sense of stability and nostalgia when Traci Abbott returns. One of the Abbott family's emotional pillars is Traci, a lady who has suffered significant personal setbacks but has always managed to bounce back with dignity, compassion, and fortitude. For many people, her return to Genoa City represents the return of the Abbott heritage to its proper location. This time, however, she is not merely returning home to give Jack or Ashley her customary consoling words or advice. Rather, she is re-establishing a relationship with an unexpected person, Kane Ashby. One of those intriguing, almost romances that soap operas love to hint at but never completely develop is the bond between Traci and Kane. Viewers noticed little signs of chemistry between them back in 2019, moments of compassionate dialogue, understanding, and the kind of respect that could easily develop into something more. Their bond was based on empathy, understanding of one another's resiliency, and shared suffering rather than love or lust. Both characters have experienced great heartache. Kane's tumultuous marriage to Lily Winter's betrayals and personal mistakes, Traci's devastating death of her daughter Colleen. They discovered a serenity in one another that contrasted with the pandemonium all around them. Years later, their reunion is even more significant. Kane's recast represents both a fresh chapter for the character and a change in actor. Examining Kane's depths beyond the scandals and errors of his past is made possible by the casting. After years of being the pillar of support for others, Traci's homecoming gives viewers the chance to witness her embrace a tale of love and personal fulfillment. Longtime fans will undoubtedly be reminded of the delicate potential that once existed by their discourse. Is the show laying the groundwork for anything more significant, or will this reunion stay within the realm of friendship? The reunion of Traci and Kane has the potential to develop into one of those late-blooming romances that highlight the value of second chances, and soap operas thrive on re-examining old roads from fresh angles. Furthermore, Traci's innate ability to see the best in people may be put to the test by Kane's present affiliations, especially his dubious business practices and his choice to use Billy as a scapegoat. Their rekindled relationship might force Traci into a more important position where she would have to balance her family's allegiance with empathy for Kane's hardships. To Daniel Jr., Tessa Porter opens up. Another plotline explores the brittleness of relationships and the bravery required to be vulnerable in parallel to this reunion. Mariah Copeland has been acting destructively lately, while Tessa Porter has been silently bearing the burden of her failing marriage. Resilience and conquering challenges, dealing with disapproving families, job setbacks, infertility issues, and the consequences of trauma, have always been central to Tessa and Mariah's relationship. However, their romance has now come to an uncomfortable juncture. Daniel Jr. comes into this room as a confidant as well as an observer. After years of missteps, broken relationships, and battles to rediscover his creative spark, Daniel has his own scars, his own journey of redemption, and his own rebuilding. Mariah unintentionally introduced a new dynamic that could make things more difficult when she asked him to watch Tessa while she was away. In contrast to the emotional roller coaster she experiences with Mariah, Tessa views Daniel as a secure place where she can talk openly without fear of criticism. At least not right away. Their contact is about honesty, empathy, and just being heard rather than romance. It's important that Tessa opens up to Daniel, since it shows how alone she's felt. She has been burdened by Mariah's collapse, the humiliation of being judged by others, and the isolation of being abandoned. She discovers in Daniel a person who knows what it's like to watch a loved one destroy themselves while feeling unable to stop it. However, Tessa and Daniel's emotional closeness has the capacity to develop into something more, as is the case with all soap opera relationships. The plot will push the limits of Tessa's marriage's strength, forgiveness, and loyalty, regardless of whether it develops into friendship or romance. There may be perplexity, remorse, and possibly an unexpected love triangle if Tessa starts to rely more on Daniel than she ever did Mariah. This plotline poses difficult issues for viewers. Is Tessa abandoning Mariah by turning to Daniel for solace? Or is she just getting by the only way she knows how? Even if it means stepping over emotional boundaries. Should Daniel comply with Mariah's request to keep Tessa from feeling alone? These kinds of quandaries, which compel both characters and viewers to consider the ambiguities of loyalty and love, are what give soap operas their enduring appeal. Billy Abbott's startling confusion. Billy Abbott rushes into self-destruction while Traci and Tessa manage emotional vulnerability and moments of reunion. Billy is characterized by his dual nature as the affable Abbott who craves respect and the careless one who ruins any chance for security. He makes a startling threat in this episode that highlights how completely he has fallen apart. Billy has always acted on impulse, but this time his fury feels more deliberate, dangerous, and possibly destructive. Billy snaps after being left out of Kane's new AI project and seeing alliances develop without him. His rage stems from more than just business. It also stems from humiliation, treachery, and the persistent worry that he will always be the underperforming Abbott. Sally Spectra has left, Jack has withdrawn himself, and Kane is now pursuing her goals without him. Billy, spiraling and alone, screams at anybody who gets in his way. Who is the person he is threatening, then? Will he vent his resentment on Genoa City's most powerful person, Victor Newman? Or will he go up against Kane, whom he feels has deceived him? In any case, Billy's warning could turn into something more sinister, especially considering his history of making poor choices. Fans have witnessed Billy's downward spiral in the past, whether it was due to his obsession with vengeance, his gambling addictions, or his grief over Delia, but this particular breakdown seems like it might drive him over the edge. The way this plot isolates Billy from his family is what makes it so captivating. As she rekindles her relationship with Kane, Traci, the person Abbott has always stood up for, may find her allegiance put to the test. Jack has already retreated since he is tired of Billy's pranks. Billy becomes dangerous without allies, not only to himself but also to others. Billy's life is tragically ironic in that, despite his desire for love and respect, his actions consistently drive his loved ones away. Threads crossing. The subtle intersection of the tales is what gives this episode its unique depth. Billy's breakdown can be indirectly impacted by Traci's reunion with Kane, particularly if she starts to support him in his career endeavors or personal development. Billy might become aware of Tessa's weakness with Daniel, especially considering how involved the Abbott family frequently gets in other people's problems. Additionally, Traci and Daniel will surely be impacted by Billy's downward spiral as they deal with their own difficult situations. On Monday, September 22nd, 2025, which narrative are you most excited to see? Post your ideas in the space provided for comments below. To find out what happens next, keep watching the soap opera on CBS or Paramount.